The hegemony had conquered 317 species across 47 star systems. Their strategy was flawless, their technology superior, their victory inevitable. They were the apex predators of the galaxy, and they knew it. Admiral Vexthal stood on the bridge of the dreadnought Eternal Dominion, reviewing the latest intelligence reports. The Nexari had fallen in 6 days. The crystalline Zephyrians had surrendered after their homeworld's computational networks were overwhelmed. Even the cybernetic Kefri, with their quantum-enhanced tactical minds, had managed only 3 weeks of resistance. Admiral, Communications Officer Zyle reported, "We've received first contact protocols from a new species. They call themselves humans, from a planet designated Earth in the Sol system." Vexthal's mandibles clicked dismissively. "Classification. Class 12 Death World, sir. The planet appears to be actively hostile to life. Extreme weather systems, tectonic instability, predatory ecosystems, and..." Zyle paused, his bioluminescent patches flickering uncertainly. "Sir, their initial message is unusual. Display it." The holographic screen materialized, showing a simple text transmission. "We know who you are and what you've done. Come and try." Admiral Vexthal laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "They're inviting us to conquer them? How refreshingly direct. Initiate standard invasion protocols." The hegemony fleet descended upon Earth with overwhelming force. Their arrival should have triggered immediate planetary surrender. Every species before had capitulated within hours of seeing the massive dreadnoughts blotting out their sky. Instead, the humans opened fire, not with the desperate, panicked volleys of a doomed species, but with calculated, precise strikes that seemed to target weaknesses the hegemony didn't know they had. Human fighters moved in patterns that defied tactical analysis, sacrificing themselves in ways that somehow resulted in maximum enemy casualties. "Sir," Tactical Officer Quindar's voice cracked with strain. "They're not following any recognizable combat doctrine. Their strategies are chaotic, unpredictable. They're using their own ships as kinetic weapons." Through the view screen, Vexthal watched a human destroyer ram directly into a hegemony cruiser's reactor core. Both ships vanished in nuclear fire, but the explosion took out 3 more hegemony vessels caught in the blast radius. "Casualties?" he demanded. 17 ships lost, sir. They've destroyed 46% of our invasion force in the first engagement." Vexthal's confidence wavered. No species had ever inflicted significant casualties on the hegemony fleet. Their technology was centuries ahead of anything these primitives should possess. "How?" he whispered. The answer came from the humans themselves. Every communication channel suddenly filled with the same voice. Rough, defiant. "You think you're apex predators? You've conquered species that evolved on garden worlds where the biggest threat was bad weather. You've never faced anything that crawled out of a Class 12 death world." The human ships regrouped with impossible speed, their formations shifting like living organisms. Vexthal realized with growing horror that they weren't just fighting. They were adapting, learning, evolving their tactics in real time. "We are the species that survived ice ages, supervolcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts, and pandemic plagues. We are the descendants of creatures that hunted megafauna with pointed sticks and colonized every hostile environment our planet could create." Another wave of human fighters screamed toward the hegemony fleet. This time, they moved differently, incorporating lessons learned from the first engagement, exploiting every weakness they discovered. "You conquered species that surrendered when they saw your ships. We're the species that saw your ships and started planning how to take them apart." The Eternal Dominion shuddered as human fighters penetrated their defensive grid using tactics that shouldn't have been possible. Vexthal watched his tactical displays dissolve into chaos as the humans demonstrated that 300 million years of evolutionary pressure had created something the galaxy had never seen. A species that didn't just survive impossible odds, they thrived on them. "Sir," Quindar's voice was barely a whisper. "New readings from the planet's surface. They're launching additional forces." "How many?" "All of them, sir. Every human on the planet appears to be mobilizing. 8 billion combatants and counting." Admiral Vexthal looked at the data streams showing human military doctrine, their casualty acceptance rates, their absolutely terrifying willingness to die for tactical advantage. For the first time in his military career, he felt something the hegemony had never experienced. Fear. Signal the retreat, he ordered. For the first time in galactic history, the hegemony had found a species they couldn't conquer. They had found the species that conquered everything else first.